You know, well, with any sequel, I guess, you know, I think there's a hope and expectation that you're going to do more, bigger, better of the previous one. And we've done all that, but we really wanted to kind of come to the table with something dramatically different. And that's where we've introduced this system called a gear system into the game of already existing characters, that roster that's expanding.
So right now we're seeing the introductions. You have that smack talk. We should probably be quiet. Otherwise, everybody's
gonna
be mad.
spit up on me, Atrocitus?
Irritating.
You know who else does that? Babies.
So a little sass.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
back.
That's something we started actually with Mortal Kombat X. We had the characters actually talking to each other. It actually makes it feel like they're, you know, they actually know the other person there. It's cool.
Yeah. So how many dialogue options do each character have for like their introduction?
You know what? It is in, you know, Mortal Kombat had, you know, several thousand. We're into the tens of thousands.
Like Johnny Cage alone has like 20.
Yeah, he was a great comedic relief in Mortal Kombat X. But we really feel like it's become a big part of just kind of feeling like the characters are actually there and real. Little nuances like this that we've, you know, expanded. Justice 1 didn't have it, but you know, as far as like, you know, what's so great about this game is there were characters that inevitably were left out of Injustice 1 that, you know, really angry or passionate fans would, you know, rally for, and we're able to accommodate some of those now. You know, Atrocitus, Supergirl, Gorilla
Blue
Grodd.
Beetle.
We shall see.
Yeah, we shall see. You're
Yeah.
actually doing votes right now for who should be in Injustice.
Yeah, occasionally I'll put something on Twitter and ask people what they think, and we're always trying to get feedback from players as to who they want to see in the game.
Speaking of characters they want to see, Black Manta. People definitely want to see that character. He's a transition right now.
Yeah. He's there's a possibility of it happening. I mean, right now we only have the 6 that we're announcing, but as we did with Injustice, we'll have a cadence of release of announcement of characters.
So in the DC universe, people don't kill each other, but they do supers. Maybe if those guys can hear me, they'll do one really quick. Here is Atrocitus' super against Supergirl. In Injustice 1, one of the things in competitive play is you usually didn't do a super high-level competitive play, but they did get a little redundant. Have you added multiple supers for each character, or no?
No, they don't have multiple supers. You know, some our supers and our transitions are somewhat shorter than they were in the first Injustice. We still want them to be, you know, really outrageous, over the top. You know, Supergirl throwing somebody beyond the sun and hitting them with their heat vision. But we really try to kind of get them going, especially the transitions are a little quicker.
So I just noticed her super alone did 32, and then she did something that bumped it up to 42% damage. How did that happen?
The supers are actually, there's an interactive element to our super moves now. And so there are opportune moments at a super that a player can press a certain button or do a different combination that will actually bump the damage up. And we're not documenting them anywhere. It's just there for people to discover, kind of like our original fatalities that were in Mortal Kombat.
And brutalities in Mortal Kombat X.
Exactly. We never document them. We just let people discover them, and it's amazing how players find that stuff. And you know, with the FAQs and all that stuff, it's suddenly documented.
Yeah. We're looking at Atrocitus and Supergirl right now. Atrocitus brings out Dexstar. What is Supergirl's power when activated?
Supergirl is her heat vision. She can fire off a number of individual shots, and she can vary them up. And so she's a very good kind of distance character, but her heat vision is her main kind of power that she uses.
Got it. So we show the level transitions. The level interactables are back. We have some of the balls in the middle there that you can swing off of, or do you throw them down? Okay, it looks like you throw them down. And yeah, so we've looked at these two characters. We're going to check out some of the new guys in just a second.
Yeah, we can check out Gorilla Grodd and maybe a character like Superman or something. Let's see what their super moves are like.
Let's see Grodd and Superman face to face, and I definitely want to see my man Batman go against Aquaman, who you somehow made cool.
Yeah. That was you know, Aquaman's Shark super move was probably one of the most, biggest wow moments that we had in the first Injustice game, and starting this game off right off the bat, we decided we have to top that. I think we actually managed to top it. For some people who've seen it, it's really perhaps the coolest super move that we've made to date. But the first Injustice game set such a high bar for that stuff. It's really becoming tough to think of.
Right now we're seeing kind of their default gear sets, right? This is how you start.
Yeah.
How does that progression system work?
Well, after the match, the players during the victory scheme will see basically drops of gear, and the gear is not only just like a visual aesthetic, like you can actually, Superman has like a certain headgear that'll get, but it actually affects your gameplay. It actually powers up, and so there's a number of ways, whether it's your strength, your defense, your special abilities, you can enhance your abilities, you can actually unlock moves, and so your character is constantly in this process of being upgraded. You're literally molding your characters together and creating your version of Superman. So your version of Superman after, let's say, 3 weeks of time of leveling him up is going to look different than mine, and it's also going to have different attributes, and you might have a move that's unlocked that I don't. So it's very personalized version of the characters.
And there's thousands of variations, right?
Absolutely. There's I don't want to use the word infinite, but it's way up there. It's crazy how that's really like one of the goals that we're with our games that we've been trying to do is to add customization and things that like where the player is involved in kind of shaping the character. That's the theme of this game.
Got it. So basically what you're saying is there's no way you could ever see this at EVO. How do you normalize it for competitive play? That's what people want to know.
Yeah, we are absolutely going to have a mode of play that is kind of like a normalized, more even level playing field of the characters. We really want people to get into to the building up of their characters, but at some point we need a competitive aspect. The EVOs and all the other great fighting game tournaments that are going on, and so we need some avenue, and we will have an avenue of an even play field.
Well, what about just people like me who are like okay at the game, but I'm not like a top tier player? Is there going to be a ranked mode?
Oh,
and in ranked mode, will I be fighting people with crazy gear sets?
I suspect, the game doesn't come out until 2017, so we haven't fleshed out all the details, but I would imagine exactly like you had said, if somebody wants to play ranked with their leveled up character, we should provide them some kind of a venue for that. And at the same time, somebody might want to play in a, tournament kind of setting and rank himself with that. So I'd be surprised if we didn't accommodate both of those players.
Yeah. Next up, we're going to take a look at Batman and Aquaman on a different map, ideally.
Yes.
I really like the Metropolis map, and there's some lore there in the background. We saw it in the trailer.
Yeah.
So Batman, there's Superman statues in the background holding Lois Lane, but Superman was the villain of the first Injustice.
Yeah.
What's going on in that level?
Yeah, currently that background is kind of like inspired as like a memorial, for I don't want to give away too much of the story.
Yeah.
But there is certainly there are some who are vested interest in bringing Superman back to power, have an incentive to do that, and so some of them were involved in some of the construction of some of the arenas, and so we have a lot of that will be explained when the story comes in. But yeah, some are vilifying Superman, and some are kind of
making him a hero.
Exactly.
Interesting. So there's two perceptions about what Superman did.
Exactly. There's certainly a divide there.
Okay, level transitions are back. The one on this stage is on the far right.
Oh yeah, this is great. We're you actually knocked your opponent outside.
And how are you changing these in any way? They're just kind of there as.
Well, they're shorter first of all, and so you quickly the action starts up again. But we do have the different kind of palette of options, and objects in the background that you can fight with. That's always been kind of like a signature thing with Injustice is the arena. You always describe it as like the third character. It's like a considerable involvement in how you play the game.
In the first Injustice, I would constantly pick Aquaman stage because it didn't have stage transitions. I know you can turn them off,
Yes.
But are there levels like that in Injustice 2?
Yes, we are going to have some that are just a single arena, and this is that Enhancements one we were talking about.
That looks like a nasty fish fight.
Yeah.
One thing we actually didn't cover off on, wagers are back. You brought them back. There's definitely some facial animation going on. Tell me about that.
Well, you know, like one of the things that, again, we're trying to really do with this interact and acknowledge each other as much as possible. So, you know, the Clash really gets them a chance to talk. The intros that we were seeing have them talk. You know, there's so much lore with these characters, so much like you know, some of their conversations make reference to some of the famous, you know, DC comics that have come out over the years. So there's great nods to that, and so that's always exciting when you hear something. It's like, oh, I remember that from, you know, Flashpoint or something like that. So
yeah. This stage, is this a reference to a comic, or because our comics editor thought it was a reference to one of the Infinite Crisis stages?
This is really part of the continuation of our story. It involves a rebuilding of Metropolis, you know, and so that's again part of the story of you know, who is the on the side of wanting Superman to, you know, to his regime to be happening again versus, you know, Batman's side.
Batman got some new gear here. Could we? Oh, never mind. They switched out. That's okay. Let's check out the last stage, and maybe we could go into the gear system really quick and showcase some of the different stuff that people can equip.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is your gear menu where you can kind of look at everything you've unlocked and then equip it to each character.
Exactly. You know, when you're playing the game and you're getting very frequent drops, a lot of drops of gear, you don't want to equip yourself with every single thing that you get. You know, something might not be as good as your strategy if you want more defensive stuff, and then you're getting it. But this lets you basically manage it. You can see all the stats related to it. We have these things that we're currently calling X stats. You can change the color palette of your character and kind of like sculpt the version of the character that you want as far as its looks as well.
Yeah, so you can design them aesthetically, but if we look at the stats here, level 20 looks like the max level. You hack the system a little bit. Then you got strength, ability, defense, and HP. I was talking about normalizing before. Like, I'm very confused about how you're going to manage to do that. There just has to be like stats off, cosmetic only.
Yeah. Well, exactly. And the you know, we really want you to strive to get those stats as high as you can, as far as, like, you know, playing against other people's characters.
Yeah.
But like I said, you know, if you go to a tournament, you're not bringing all your characters with you, and so you want some base level that will be the tournament setting.
Definitely. So now they're geared out. How is this going to change the play style?
Well, each character has a number of parts on their costume that they can change. It's actually different for each character, and so the original version of your character has certain stats, and then each one of those is upgraded with those with the gear pieces that they have. I haven't memorized each one of those that they does. There's literally thousands of them, and there's a certain amount.
Yeah, like our eye lasers were purple there.
Exactly. That's one of the some of the visuals. Some of them are aesthetics too. Like, you want the different color eye lasers. Some are aesthetics and statistics.
If we could, really quick, let's see that stage transition for the Metropolis one. I'm kind of cueing the guys in the background playing the game like, hey, do that stage transition on the other side. So aesthetically, Batman changes, but you can also unlock certain moves.
Yes.
What kind of moves can you unlock?
Well, you know, like when you have the game, you start off with the Batman, you're going to have a super number of moves. You know, you throw a batarang, throw it at an angle, use a grappling hook. There is a triple triple batarang throw that you can unlock, and you know, those moves become part of your arsenal of characters while you're wearing that, while you're leveled up to that point, and then also you can start enhancing those moves with certain gear, like actually up its damage or something like that, and constantly, you know, just kind of leveling up your character.
Yeah, so like when you fight Batman, you're really not going to know what you're going to get going in. There's a base set,
yes,
but it's going to be really tricky.
Yeah, and it's going to be, to me, it's going to be one of the most exciting things is going online and seeing all these different this almost infinite number of Batmans that you're going to be fighting, Aquamans, and so you really don't know what you're going to get. It is at its core, it's Batman. It's not like Batman's going to suddenly get heat vision like Superman does or something. It will be fundamentally Batman, but we're trying to give the players as many access to as many variables as possible to mold the character.
I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask that. You have thousands of pieces of gear that you can get. Is this setting the game up to do a microtransaction system?
Well, it's absolutely not setting the game up to do it. We haven't decided what we're going to do for the people who don't want to spend. This feature, if I would describe it, I would say it's something that we would like to see lasting, months, many months, and the process of playing it up. Some players may not want to actually spend all that time to level up their characters, and they may want some kind of another way to do it, but we haven't really made any kind of decisions based on that stuff.
Got it. Thank you, Ed. I am super excited about Injustice 2. I hope you guys are also. Thank you so much for coming on our show today.
We absolutely appreciate you having us. It's always great to see you guys.
Like I said at the beginning, it's always a pleasure. Thank you. Guys, you want more Injustice?